I'm Sophie.
And I'm Zach, and welcome back to class. And our topic for today is Generations for General English B1+.
მოგესალმებით. კეთილი იყოს თქვენი დაბრუნება ჩვენს ტელესკოლაში. მე სოფო ვარ, ეს კი ზაკია. დღევანდელი ჩვენი გაკვეთილის თემა იქნება თაობები. თქვენ უყურებთ ზოგად ინგლისურს დონე B1+.
So for today's agenda, we have the vocabulary, and then we move right along to the reading comprehension. And in the middle, we have the grammar. And after that, we do the summary and our favorite part, homework.
ვიდრე უშუალოდ გაკვეთილზე გადავიდოდეთ, მოდით ერთად გადავხედოთ დღევანდელი დღის გეგმას. დღევანდელი ჩვენი გაკვეთილი დაიწყება ლექსიკით, ამის შემდეგ გვექნება წაკითხულის გააზრება, შემდეგ გადავალთ გრამატიკულ სავარჯიშოებზე, შემდეგ შევაჯამებთ გაკვეთილს ერთად და ამის შემდეგ კი გვექნება საშინაო დავალება.
So Sophie, is it good to bring older and younger generations together more?
I think it's a great idea because there are so many different things that younger generation could learn from older generation. And therefore, it's a great idea. What do you think?
Oh, of course. They should get together more and talk more and learn things from each other instead of staying so separate.
Absolutely right.
So let's go to our vocabulary section where we have new vocabulary for you.
ახლა კი მოდით გადავიდეთ ლექსიკის ნაწილზე. თქვენ წინაშე ის სიტყვები, რომლებსაც შევისწავლით დღევანდელ გაკვეთილზე.
So our first word is enormous, and it's an adjective, and it means very, 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 very big.
A synonym of it might be huge,
Yeah.
right? So enormous in Georgian means uzarmazari. Enormous, uzarmazari, enormous, uzarmazari, enormous, uzarmazari.
And next we have silent, which is an adjective, and silent is when there is no noise at all.
Silent in Georgian means chumi. Silent, chumi, silent, chumi, silent, chumi.
And next we have adaptable, which is an adjective, and it means when someone can change for the better or to like a new job, you have to adapt to their environment.
Very true. Adaptable in Georgian means advilad shemguebeli. Adaptable, advilad shemguebeli. Adaptable, advilad shemguebeli. Adaptable, advilad shemguebeli.
And next we have sociable, which is an adjective, and it means when you are around a lot of people and talking with people, not just keeping to yourself.
Sociable in Georgian means ხალხთან ურთიერთობის მოყვარული. Sociable, ხალხთან ურთიერთობის მოყვარული. Sociable, ხალხთან ურთიერთობის მოყვარული. Sociable, ხალხთან ურთიერთობის მოყვარული.
And next we have sophisticated, which is an adjective, and it means something that's could be fancy or something complicated.
Sophisticated in Georgian means დახვეწილი ან კულტურული. Sophisticated, დახვეწილი ან კულტურული. Sophisticated, დახვეწილი ან კულტურული. Sophisticated, დახვეწილი ან კულტურული.
So next we have flexible, and it's an adjective, and it means when you are able to change and do different things and meet new people and just are open.
So this word is very close to the adaptable, right? If you're adaptable, you're also kind of flexible. So flexible in Georgian means moknili. Flexible, moknili, flexible, moknili, flexible, moknili.
And next we have impatient, which is an adjective, and it means when you can't wait for something, you really want something to happen and you are just like rushing for it.
Impatient in Georgian means motmeneli. Impatient, motmeneli. Impatient, motmeneli. Impatient, motmeneli.
Now let's go to our vocabulary activity and match the descriptions with the correct words.
ახლა კი მოდით გადავიდეთ ლექსიკის დავალებაზე. ამ სავარჯიშოში თქვენ უნდა შეუსაბამოთ მოცემული სიტყვები მოცემულ განმარტებებს. Let's start?
Let's do it. So our first one, Sophie, when a person is friendly and enjoys being with other people. What could that be?
I think that's the word that is the opposite of shy, and the opposite word of shy is sociable. If you're sociable, it means that you are open and you are friendly and you enjoy being with the other people. You are not reserved, and that's sociable.
Yeah, totally right. And the next we have very large in size or quantity. What could that word be?
I think you mentioned it, something that is an opposite of small, which is huge, something that is big, very big, right? Enormous. Enormous is the word.
And next we have knowing and understanding a lot about a complicated subject.
It must be sophisticated, as we mentioned it before, sophisticated, knowing and understanding a lot about complicated subject.
And then next we have able to make changes or deal with the situation that is changing.
So here we have two words, adaptable and flexible, that can both apply, but in this case the right answer is flexible, to be able to make changes or to deal with the situation that is changing.
Fantastic. And then next, when a person or a group of people does not talk, laugh, or make any noise.
And that one is quite easy, I guess. Our audience will know the answer. It's silent. Silent is when a person or a group of people do not talk or do not make any sound.
And then next, when people can change their behavior or ideas easily in order to deal with new situations.
And that's the word adaptable for this definition. It's when you change your behavior or ideas easily. So it means that you are flexible and you're not a closed box and you can adapt to the situations as it is needed.
Totally. And then annoyed because something is not happening as quickly as you want or in the way you want.
And that must be impatient. The answer is quite obvious. Impatient means when you're annoyed because something is not happening as quickly as you want it to happen.
Fantastic. And now let's go to our second set of vocabulary words.
ახლა კი გადავიდეთ ლექსიკის მეორე ნაწილზე.
So our first word is lifetime, which is a noun, and it means your entire life.
Lifetime in Georgian means სიცოცხლის ხანგრძლივობა. Lifetime, სიცოცხლის ხანგრძლივობა. Lifetime, სიცოცხლის ხანგრძლივობა. Lifetime, სიცოცხლის ხანგრძლივობა.
And next we have immediate, which is an adjective, and it means when something happens now.
Immediate in Georgian means დაუყოვნებელი ან გადაუდებელი. Immediate, დაუყოვნებელი ან გადაუდებელი. Immediate, დაუყოვნებელი ან გადაუდებელი. Immediate, დაუყოვნებელი ან გადაუდებელი.
And next we have unemployment, which is a noun, and it means when you don't have a job.
Very true. And an adjective for this word will be unemployed. Unemployment, in this case, is a noun. Unemployment in Georgian means უმუშევრობა. Unemployment, უმუშევრობა. Unemployment, უმუშევრობა. Unemployment, უმუშევრობა.
And next we have seamless, which is an adjective, and seamless is when something happens with no problems.
Seamless in Georgian means შეუმჩნეველი. Seamless, შეუმჩნეველი. Seamless, შეუმჩნეველი. Seamless, შეუმჩნეველი.
And next we have transform, which is a verb, and it means when you change into something else or something changes into something else.
Transform in Georgian means გარდაქმნა. Transform, გარდაქმნა. Transform, გარდაქმნა. Transform, გარდაქმნა.
And next we have view, which is a noun, and a view is how you see someone or something.
Definitely. View in Georgian means თვალსაზრისი ან შეხედულება. View, თვალსაზრისი ან შეხედულება. View, თვალსაზრისი ან შეხედულება. View, თვალსაზრისი ან შეხედულება.
And lastly, we have emergence, which is a noun, and emergence is when something begins or comes, like someone can emerge out of a house or something like that.
Emergence in Georgian means გამოჩენა ან გამოსვლა. Emergence, გამოჩენა ან გამოსვლა. Emergence, გამოჩენა ან გამოსვლა. Emergence, გამოჩენა ან გამოსვლა.
So, now let's move on to the reading activity.
ახლა კი გადავიდეთ წაკითხულის გააზრებაზე.
So, Sophie, what generation do you belong to?
I don't know the name of it as yet, because I know that our reading section will be about it, but I was born in 1991, so I'm not completely the generation of the computer, because when I was born in Georgia, we didn't have such things, but definitely when I already got into the school, 6th, 7th grade, I already had some pretty cool gadgets to play with.
Very cool.
So I think now it's time to read the text about different generations, right?
Let's do it.
And our first text is about the silent generation. Also known as builders, born in between 1924 and 1945. They are children of post-war happiness. We also call them jazz, swing, Frank Sinatra, Gone with the Winds, and the Mickey Mouse generation. We are talking about pre-feminism, staying-at-home moms, and a man coming to a lifetime job. The children who grew up during this time worked very hard and kept quiet. It was commonly understood that children should be seen and not heard. While there were many civil rights leaders like Martin Luther King, J.R. Malcolm X, and Robert F. Kennedy, or artists like Andy Warhol, Clint Eastwood, Bob Dylan, John Lennon, Ray Charles, Jimi Hendrix, the silence focused on their careers rather than on activism, and the people were largely encouraged to conform with social norms.
So Generation X, born between 1965 and 1980, now in their 40s and 50s. Most remember being in school without computers, and then after the introduction of computers in middle school or high school. When they were teenagers, mobile phones were enormous and not many people had computers at home. They are known to marry late. Gen Xers are often called the MTV generation. They experienced the emergence of music videos, new wave music, electronic, rock, heavy metal, punk, and hip-hop. When they were teenagers, they listened to music on cassette and CD players. It is the Nirvana of U2, Madonna, Torn Jeans, Friends, Beverly Hills. They are into labels and brand names. They are not afraid of change. Now they use wearable technology to stay fit and healthy. They are changeable and adaptable to new situations. Generation X are very sociable and hardworking.
Generation Y, or millennials, born between 1980 and 2000, now in their 20s and 30s, known as sophisticated, technology-wise, immune to most traditional marketing. They've seen it all and been exposed to it all since early childhood. Some people say they focus on themselves too much. They are the Yahoo, mobile phones, Google, Facebook, iPhone generation. With unlimited access to information, they have strong views. They see the world as a 24/7 place, want fast and immediate actions. Generation Y are less brand loyal, and the speed of the internet made them flexible and changing in their fashion. They are also known as digital natives. Lots of Ys went to university, but because of unemployment, they find it hard to get jobs that make them happy.
Generation Z. It is the generation born after 1995, and they have never known a world without computers and cell phones. Their age now varies from preschoolers to teenagers, and they have integrated technology seamlessly into their lives. And having used it from the young age or youngest age, it's almost like the air they breathe. Because of the fact that they can use screens at the same time, they are called screenagers. They know what they want and how to get it. They are fast thinkers, and when something does not happen quickly, they get impatient. Globally focused, visually engaged, educationally transformed, socially defined. It is the generation that will experiment Google Glass, nanocomputing, 3D printing, driverless cars, referred to as technoholics because they are entirely dependent on IT. So now let's move on to the reading activity and identify if the sentences are true or false.
ახლა კი გადავიდეთ წაკითხulis გააზრების დავალებაზე. Ამ დავალებისთვის ჩვენ უნდა შევხედოთ წინადადებებს და გადავწყვიტოთ ეს წინადადებები ჭეშმარიტია თუ არა.
So Sophie, Generation Z does not know how to use technology. Is that true or false?
Well, I think this sentence is false because it is the generation born after 1995 and they have never known a world without computers and cell phones, as we read in the text. Therefore, Generation Z knows a lot about technology. Therefore, this sentence is false.
Exactly. And number two, Generation Y have problems finding jobs that would keep them happy.
This sentence is true because lots of Ys went to university, but because of unemployment, they find it hard to get jobs that make them happy.
And then number three, Generation X listen to different music genres.
And finally, this sentence is true because they experience the emergence of music videos, new wave music, electronic, rock, heavy metal, punk, and hip hop, as you read in the text. Therefore, this sentence is true.
And lastly, number 4, silent generation is called silent because they did not participate in activism.
So, as we know, this sentence is true because as you read in the text, there were many people who partially participated into the activism, but they more cared about their career rather than the activism on its own. And therefore, this sentence is true.
Fantastic. Now let's go to the grammar section and let's discuss to infinitive, bare infinitive, and gerund.
ახლა კი გადავიდეთ გრამატიკის ნაწილზე, სადაც განვიხილავთ ინფინიტივებს, to infinitives, infinitives თუს გარეშე და gerundiv ფორმას.
We use to infinitive to express purpose. For example, she went to the shop to get some milk.
ჩვენ ასევე გამოვიყენებთ to infinitives შემდეგი გამონათქვამების შემდეგ. Would love, would like, would prefer. მაგალითად, I would love to go to the cinema. Would love to go.
We use bare infinitive after modal verbs, may, should, can, etc. For example, I should go.
Infinitive to-ს გარეშე კი გამოიყენება შემდეგი მოდალური ზმნების შემდეგ. May, should, can და ასე შემდეგ. მაგალითად, I should go. Should go. Go to infinitive's გარეშე.
We use bare infinitive after the verbs let, make, see, hear, and feel. For example, they made him pay for the damage.
Infinitive to-ს გარეშე ასევე გამოიყენება შემდეგი ზმნების შემდეგ. Make, see, hear და feel. მაგალითად, they made him pay for the damage. Made him pay. Made him pay.
The ing form is used as a noun. For example, jogging is good for health.
ing-იანი ფორმა, ანუ gerundivi, გამოიყენება როგორც არსებითი სახელი. მაგალითად, jogging is good for health.
The ing form is used after prepositions. For example, he left without saying anything.
ing-იანი, ანუ gerundivi ფორმა ასევე გამოიყენება წინდებულების შემდეგ. მაგალითად, he left without saying anything, without preposition, saying, without saying.
The ing form is used after love, like, enjoy, dislike, hate, and prefer to express general preference. For example, she likes reading novels.
ing-იანი, ანუ gerundivi ფორმა გამოიყენება შემდეგი ზმნების შემდეგ. Love, like, enjoy, dislike, hate, and prefer. როდესაც გვინდა გამოვხატოთ ზოგადი სურვილები. მაგალითად, she likes reading novels.
The ing form is used after certain verbs. Consider, avoid, deny, look forward to, confess to, fancy, involve, mention, risk, spend, mind, regret, admit, suggest, imagine, etc. For example, George spent all day reading.
ing-იანი ფორმა, ანუ gerundivi, გამოიყენება შემდეგი ზმნების შემდეგ. Consider, avoid, deny, look forward to, confess, fancy, involve, mention, risk, spend, mind, regret, admit, suggest, imagine. მაგალითად, George spent all day reading.
The ing form is used after go for activities. For example, they often go cycling on the weekends.
ing-იანი, ანუ gerundivi ფორმა ასევე გამოიყენება ზმნა goes შემდეგ, როდესაც ვსაუბრობთ აქტივობაზე. მაგალითად, they often go cycling on the weekends. Go cycling.
The ing form is used after the verbs see, hear, feel, watch, listen to, and notice to describe an incomplete action, that is to say that somebody saw, heard, etc., only a part of the action. For example, I heard George talking on the phone.
ing-იანი ფორმა ასევე გამოიყენება შემდეგი ზმნების შემდეგ. See, hear, feel, watch, listen and notice. რათა ავღწეროთ დაუსრულებელი მოქმედება, რომელსაც ასე რომ თქვა თვინმე შეესწრო. მაგალითად, I heard George talking on the phone.
But see, hear, feel, watch, listen to, notice, plus bare infinitive describes a complete action, something that somebody saw, heard, etc., from beginning to the end. For example, I heard Jack talk on the phone.
თუმცა see, hear, feel, watch, listen to, notice დამატებული ინფინიტივი თუს გარეშე აღწერს დასრულებულ მოქმედებას, რომელსაც ვინმე შეესწრო დაწყებიდან დასრულებამდე. მაგალითად, I heard Jack talk on the phone.
Now let's move on to our grammar activity and fill in the correct verb form.
ახლა კი გადავიდეთ გრამატიკის სავარჯიშოზე. ამ სავარჯიშოში მოცემულია წინადადებები გამოტოვებული ადგილებით. ჩვენ უნდა ჩავსვათ მოცემულ გამოტოვებულ ადგილებში ზმნის სწორი ფორმა.
So Sophie, he demanded blank to the manager. So we have the verb to speak.
In this case, because we have the verb demanded before the verb speak, we need to use infinitive with the to speak. He demanded to speak to the manager.
And then next, I couldn't help blank during the lecture.
As we mentioned earlier as well, couldn't help needs to be followed by ing form or a gerund. And in this case, I couldn't help laughing during the lecture would be the right answer.
And then they practiced blank all day long.
They practiced speaking all day long.
And then lastly, I cannot blank, I am scared of water.
After modal verbs like can, we always need to use bare infinitive. Therefore, the right answer would be swim. I cannot swim, I am scared of water.
So now, let's go to the summary.
ახლა კი მოდით ერთად შევაჯამოთ დღევანდელი გაკვეთილი.
So we went over the vocabulary at the beginning, and then we read a couple of texts about generations and different ones. And lastly, we did the grammar for Infinitives and Gerund.
And now it's time to move to homework.
And our homework today is to write a short paragraph and describe your generation.
საშინაო დავალებად გთხოვთ დაწერეთ პარაგრაფი და აღწერეთ თქვენი თაობა.
And please send your homework to the address on the screen.
გთხოვთ თქვენი დავალება გამოაგზავნოთ ეკრანზე მითითებულ მისამართზე.
And of course, we will have an example of the homework for you to make sure you're doing it right.
მოცემულ მისამართზე ასევე დაგხვდებათ დავალების ნიმუში, რომელიც შეგიძლიათ გამოიყენოთ.
And I think that's the end of the lesson for today.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes, shall we say goodbye?
We shall, but only if they're going to come back next week.
Oh, I think they'll come back.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.